Methodology of study. The researcher analyzed the data from iReady assessments results within the second grade and the Illinois Assessment of Readiness IAR results from third, fourth, and fifth grade at Crystal Lawns Elementary. When analyzing the iReady results, more than half of the second grade students did not demonstrate sufficient understanding of the following skills. Determine the meaning of the new word formed when a known prefix is added to the unknown word. Use a known root word as a clue to the meaning of an unknown word with the same root, and use knowledge of the meaning of individual words to predict the meaning of compound words. When analyzing the ELA results from the IAR assessment, there was a decrease over the last 3 years. After reviewing this data with the school administrator, it was decided that students were lacking word knowledge. The researcher proposed the Action Research Study, Morphological Awareness Assisting Students with Word Knowledge, would increase word knowledge in second grade participants, which would help increase IAR results in third grade students in the following year. In the discussion, the purpose, justification of the study, selection of participants, and the benefits of the study were addressed. The administrator has given written approval of the study to take place in a bilingual second grade classroom at Crystal Lawns Elementary. The researcher created a form seeking parent permission for their child to be included in the research study. The form explained that the participants would perform word study activities over a 6-week period. It informed parents that before the activities would begin, pre-tests would be administered. Progress monitoring would be used midway through the study, and at the end of the 6 weeks, post-tests would be given, and the results would be analyzed and reported. It was made clear that all students would participate in all activities. Their permission was needed to allow the research to analyze and report on the results of the study. The purpose of the study was to determine if teaching morphemic awareness leads to better comprehension due to vocabulary acquisition. Participants will complete the assigned remote learning activities. A phonics assessment using the Lalio website was administered prior to the start of the activities. In addition, a word study inventory using the Freckle website, an audio reading record, and a reading assessment from RazKids was obtained before April 6th. The Seesaw computer program will be used for progress monitoring throughout the study to determine if the intervention was effective. For this study, the researcher has chosen activities for the participants to complete over the 6-week period of remote learning. Participants will complete individualized word study activities on the Freckle website for 3 days on the first week of the study. Additionally, for 2 days on the first week, participants will read 2 stories on RazKids and complete the comprehension questions that accompany those stories. The second week, participants will complete word study activities on the Lalio website for 3 days, and they will read 2 stories on the RazKids and complete the comprehension questions that accompany those stories. On the third week, participants will complete word study activities on Freckle website 1 day, word study activities on the Lalio website for 1 day, and they will complete a quick check using the Seesaw website for 2 days. Lastly, they will use the RazKids website to record themselves reading a story at their level to serve as a writing record for quick check. On week 4, participants will complete word study activities on the Freckle website 2 days, word study activities on the Lalio website for 2 days, and they will read 1 story on RazKids and complete the comprehension questions that accompany that story. On week 5 again, participants will complete word study activities on the Freckle website 2 days, word study activities on the Lalio website for 2 days, and they will read 1 story on RazKids and complete the comprehension questions that accompany that story. Lastly, on week 6, participants will complete word study activities on the Freckle website 1 day, word study activities on the Lalio website for 1 day, and they will complete a quick check using the Seesaw website for 2 days. Lastly, they will use the RazKids website to record themselves reading a story at their level to serve as the writing record quick check. At the midpoint of the action research, the researcher will send home a participant survey and a parent questionnaire to determine if the participants are engaged and to determine if the activities are appropriately challenging for the participants. After careful review of this data, adjustments will be made to assure participants are being adequately engaged and challenged throughout the study. Lastly, at the end of the action research, the researcher will send home a participant survey and a parent questionnaire to determine if the program and activities were engaging and appropriately challenging. Participants. Participants in this study consist of 10 students from a second grade classroom of 21 students from Crystal Lawns Elementary School. Of the 10 students, 4 are boys and 6 are girls. 7 of the students are 8 years old and 3 students are 7 years old. 3 of the 10 students are from low socioeconomic status and receive free breakfast and lunch daily. One of those 3 students is in a foster home, and the other 2 students are in a mixed family home with step-parent and step-siblings. The remaining 7 students are from middle-class 2-parent home. 4 students are Caucasian, 4 students are Hispanic, 1 student is Asian, and 1 student is African American. The Asian student receives EL services, and out of the 4 Hispanic students, 3 receive EL services and primarily speak Spanish at home. Of the 10 students, 1 student has been diagnosed with dyslexia and another student shows many signs of dyslexia. These 2 students are in an intervention called Take Flight, which instructs students using systematic phonics instruction. These 2 students are reading at a DRA level 12. Of the remaining 8 students, 4 of them are in a reading intervention because they are performing in the bottom 1/3 of the entire second grade, consisting of 2 classrooms totaling 43 students. These 4 students are reading at a DRA level 18. The last 4 students are performing at grade level and are reading at a DRA level 24. The technology component. Due to the fact that our district has gone to remote learning due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this study will be performed solely using technology. Students will perform pre-assessments and post-assessments using the websites Lalio and Freckle. Students will also record themselves reading a book on RazKids and send it to the researcher to serve as a running record, pre-assessment and post-assessment. Students will perform a variety of word study and comprehension activities on the above-mentioned websites 5 days a week for 20 to 30 minutes over a 6-week period. After 3 weeks, students will perform progress monitoring using the Seesaw website in order to gain insight on the effectiveness of the intervention thus far. Depending on the effectiveness, the intervention will continue using the above-mentioned websites or adjustments will be made. Program monitoring. The researcher, Amanda Caraveau, is a 9-year veteran primary teacher. She currently holds a bachelor's degree in early childhood education and is seeking a degree in reading as a reading specialist. The design of the Action Research Program requires the researcher to be more of a facilitator of learning and not to engage in direct teaching. The researcher will monitor the program to ensure students are participating in the program on a consistent basis. She will be available to parents and participants for extra support, and she will monitor participants' growth and attitudes towards the various programs and activities provided, making adjustments where needed. Leadership responsibilities include planning, implementing, assessing the efficacy of the study, as well as providing administration and parents with insight into the improvement of word study knowledge and reading comprehension. Identification tools. The researcher will utilize 3 data tools to determine the effectiveness of the Action Research Program. The first is a pre-post test running record using the RazKids website where students will record themselves reading a story at their level. The researcher will take this recording and perform a running record. This will help determine how the program impacted overall word knowledge and reading comprehension. The second tool will be a pre-post phonics assessment using the Lalio website. The researcher will administer a pre-post test word study inventory using Freckle website, and the third data tool Finally, the researcher will provide a participant survey and a parent questionnaire, which will include student overall attitude toward the program and effectiveness of the activities. The researcher will use this feedback to help plan the various activities.